Allah Rahim, Allah Malik, Allah Qudus, Allah.
Did you have grace before the world began?
You've just affirmed.
Can you answer the question? Did you have grace before the world began?
You've just affirmed my point, host. You just
okay.
yourself.
Did you have grace before the world began?
Because in what did he share with the Father?
Okay, sir. You just said if you have something.
In what did he share with the Father?
You just said if you have something before the world began,
you're eternal. Yes,
that makes you eternal. Correct?
Yes.
Good. Did you have something before the world began according to 2 Timothy?
Yes, we did.
So you're eternal.
No, it's not in the same sentence.
Okay. So the way thank you very much. So the way that Jesus Sir, let me finish. The way that Jesus had glory before the world began, it's because this glory was predestined in the knowledge of God before the world began. And so because it's predestined and known by the Almighty, the Most Wise, God and Jesus can speak of it as it already happened and as he already has it.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So the word in question in 17:5 is glory. So I've got a question, host. What does the word glory mean? What does it mean to glorify?
So, okay, good. So if you have glory with the Father, that means you are God, correct?
No. I'm asking you a question. Don't answer a question with a question.
Yeah.
Is there only one that is worthy of glory?
In what sense?
In the sense of John 17:5. Now, Father, glorify me.
In the sense of John 17:5, no.
It's not?
No.
Okay, so you told me what Christ is saying.
Yeah. God has given Jesus glory. He has given him praise. He has exalted him, right? That's the glory he's speaking about. And that same glory he passes on to the disciples, as he says in verse 21.
No, it's not. It's not the same glory.
It's not the same glory? Okay, wait.
It's not the same glory.
Stay here. Let's read.
You just read Timothy.
You said it's not the same glory, right? Okay, let's read. No problem. Same chapter.
And not only that, but who's giving it?
Wait.
Is it not Christ?
Same chapter. You said it's not the same glory. Let's read. Same chapter. Here we go. This is verse 20, same chapter. My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you, Father, gave me.
Perfect. So can I respond now?
Did Jesus give the disciples the glory that the Father gave him?
Okay, but this is the same glory that he was receiving before anything ever was, before the apostles were. Now he is now in the flesh. Hold on. He is now in the flesh giving that same glory to the apostles.
So do they have the same?
Hold on 1 second.
So is it the same glory or a different glory?
No, it's not, and I'm going to tell you why.
He just says, I have given them the glory you gave me.
You're quoting. Okay, but stop being disingenuous.
You're the only one.
Let me respond to you. No, just show some decorum. You can't even have a dialogue. Yeah, when you read the same book, the same created all things in John 1:3.
The same book that created all things?
The same, yes. John 1:3, you quoted John 17:3.
A book created all things?
The same book that it talks of the Logos.
No, you said the same book that created all things.
Orthodox Muslim.
Let's be adults. Could create all things. Okay, anyways, continue.
Same book that you've quoted for me, John. It says, through the word, through the Logos, all things were created. That same Logos that is the creator of everything. Because now you have to be very honest about this.
Yeah.
If Jesus Christ, hold on. If Jesus Christ was created, according to your...
Did I say... Wait. Did I say in the Gospel of John, Jesus is created?
No, you're a Muslim though.
Wait,
You're not a Christian,
Did I say the Gospel of John says Jesus is created? When did I say
that? No, you never said that, but you believe he's created.
I don't believe the Gospel of John.
The Orthodox Muslim, do you believe Jesus was created? That's my point.
The Gospel of John does not teach that. It teaches that Jesus.
Perfect.
Can you let me finish? The Gospel of John teaches a logos theory. The Gospel of John teaches that Jesus was created from the substance of God, not created like other creatures ex nihilo, out of nothing. I said this in the God Logic debate. He
wasn't created; he was begotten.
So just like, let me finish. So like just like the early fathers said, like Tertullian and Theophilus and Tatian and Justin Martyr. Okay, they believed that Jesus was created, but not in the same way that other things are created, because other things are created out of nothing, ex nihilo. Jesus is created from the substance of God. He is begotten from God and born from God. That's what the Gospel of John teaches.
Perfect. So the word begotten, what does it mean in the Greek? Do you know?
To be generated.
No.
Yeah, it means to be generated.
Not only to be generated. No. The word monogenes,
it literally means to come forth from it or be generated.
So the word begotten in the Greek is monogenes, which means unique.
Doofus.
Can I respond?
The word begotten.
Yanni, you don't let anyone speak, bro.
Yeah, so the word begotten here carries a philosophical meaning, not just unique. Do you believe that Jesus is just unique?
What does it mean for Christ to be unique to that of which the Father possesses?
In this context, it means
Answer my question.
I'm literally answering your question. In this context, it means that he is begotten of the substance of God.
Perfect. And what's the substance of God?
What do you mean, what's the substance of God?
It's a simple question. What is the substance of God?
I don't understand your question. What does that
mean? Who is the Father? I'll break it down in layman's terms.
The only true God.
Thank you very much. So the Father at his core, his substance is God, correct?
Yeah, his substance is that he's God.
Thank you very much. So if the substance of the Father is God in its entirety, the Son is now unique to that of which the Father possesses. So what does that make the Son? No, don't laugh. You just got cooked. So someone clickbait this. So what does that make the Son if the Son is unique to the Father? What does that mean? What are you laughing for? Respond to me, yallah. You just cooked yourself.
Oh man, you are one hell of a character.
The Son is unique to that of which the Father possesses.
So Joshua, be strong.
Answer the question, Libiano.
Yeah, I'm answering. If you don't,
Yallah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you know what Logos theology teaches, but
answer the question. Save me the spill.
Are you gonna keep cutting me off?
I don't need you to go into a tangent.
You're gonna keep cutting me off?
We're debating, are we not?
So are you going to keep cutting me off, or am I going to be able to speak?
I'm showing you the same courtesy you showed me.
Yeah. So when the Logos theorists said that Jesus is born from the substance of God, what did they mean that he's born of the substance of God? Have you read up on it?
Libiano, I need you to respond to my question.
Are you going to answer the question or not?
You're asking me a question.
Yeah, so the answer to your question is that being born of the substance of God makes you a lesser God, just like Tertullian says.
He wasn't born of the substance.
Can you let me finish? Was Jesus begotten of the substance of God?
He was begotten from the Father.
Yeah, and from the substance
Yahweh.
of God, right?
Yes, which is God.
So Jesus was born from the substance of God.
He wasn't born. He was brought forth. It's not born the way we articulate of something.
Sorry. What's the difference?
Born in the sense of we understand it, it means that it's created. When something is born,
no, I didn't say create, sir.
No.
I didn't say created. Was Jesus generated from the substance of God?
Yes.
Good. So Jesus has a point of origin, right?
Which is the Father.
Good. Does the Father have a point of origin?
Not in the same sense of the Son.
In any sense, does he have, in any sense?
No, I can
in any sense, is the Father, sir? Guess who's Mister in a sense now? Seems to be you.
Hold on a second.
So is the Father begotten in any sense?
Libiana, let me respond.
Sir, is the Father begotten? Sir, is the Father begotten in any sense?
Because they're both fully
Is the Father begotten? Is the Father begotten? Sir, is the Father begotten in any sense?
Libiana, he's not begotten in the same sense of the Son. Why?
Okay, so he's begotten. So the Father, so the Father is begotten in a different sense.
No, he's not begotten in a different sense. The word begotten...
Okay, so he's not begotten in any sense.
Libiano, the word begotten is exclusive to the Son.
Okay.
The reason it's exclusive to the Son... Hold on.
I agree with you.
Let me respond.
Okay, respond.
Stop interjecting. The reason the word begotten... The reason the word begotten is exclusive to the Son is because that showcases the Son's sonship to the Father. Each part of the Godhead, okay, I'm not finished. Each part of the Godhead has their own unique role. It's very simple. Now, when we talk about the origin, does the Son and the Father possess the same origin? Yes. Why? Because they are both fully God.
Okay,
simple.
Good. Okay, good. So now I'm so glad that you brought that up. Is it an essential property of true divinity to be unoriginated, or can X be truly God while being originated?
Not according to Christian theology.
That wasn't a yes or no.
It's a no.
What do you don't even know what you're answering.
It's a no in layman's terms.
Is it an essential property?
Because you're saying if something's originated, it cannot be a full God.
I asked a question. I didn't make a claim.
I know your question.
I said, answer. Is it an essential property of the divine nature? So in order for something to be truly God, must it be unoriginated, or can it be truly God while being originated?
It can be truly God while being originated.
Good. And the Father is just as much God as the Son, correct?
Yes.
So correct. The Father could be originated.
He's not, according to Christian theology.
I didn't ask you if he is or not. I said the Father could be originated, correct?
He's not originated in the same sense the Son is. I don't know why you're like, look, hold on. Look, what do you think you're cooking? The Father is not originated in the same sense of the Son.
So now you have an infinite regress of divine persons of God.
How's it an infinite regress?
I'll tell you why. Because if it's not an essential property of divinity to be unoriginated, that is to say, X could be truly God while being begotten or originated, and the Father is just as much X as the Son is X. The Father is just as much God as the Son is God. That means that it could be the case in a possible world where the Father himself is it could be the case where stop, let me finish. It could be the case where the Father himself is begotten of a father of his own, and that father is begotten of a father of his own, and now you became an atheist who believes in an infinite regress of God.
Can I respond now?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, what of the word begotten do you not understand is exclusive to the Son? Why? Because it showcases the Son's sonship.
Is that essential or not?
No, one second.
You're not answering. Is it essential or not?
No, let me respond. Every time you're scared.
Is it essential or not?
Stop interjecting and let me finish.
Oh, Lord, this guy is like, you're doing
No, don't say, oh, Lord. God is not Lord. Don't use the Lord's name in vain. Let me finish. Simple. The word begotten, okay, is exclusive to the Son. Obviously, the Father is not begotten of the Son because it contradicts him being a father in the first place. Can you agree?
Yeah, is that essential or not?
Okay, perfect. So you can agree that it would contradict. So we know that the Father is not begotten. Hold on a second. Let me cook you.
Is that an essential property or not?
So we clearly understand that the Father is not begotten in the same sense that the Son is.
In the same sense, so the Father is also begotten?
Let me finish.
So the Father is begotten in a different sense?
Brother, you're looking like a clown in front of 400.
Can you make it quick, bro? Come on, I'm getting bored, bro. You're not answering the question.
You're not getting anything. Let me respond, but you're scared.
You're not responding.
I am responding, but you keep interjecting.
Remember.
Be a zalmeh and let's have decorum, proper decorum.
It's like we're not getting an answer.
Can I finish?
I'm gonna give you exactly 30 more seconds. I'm gonna give you exactly 30 more seconds. I'm giving you exactly 30 more seconds.
Why do you want to constrain me to time? Are you scared?
You're putting a time limit. You're moving around the question and you're not answering. So I have to push you to a time limit.
No one's moving around.
You have 30 seconds, dude. Go on. Use your 30 seconds.
Let me finish. The word begotten is exclusive to the Son because it showcases the Son's sonship. Now, can we say that the Father is begotten? No, because then that wouldn't make the Father the Father. Very simple. Now, because the Son is begotten of the Father, which, as you affirmed, means unique. And I asked you a probing question. Who is God in his fullness? You said the Father is God. I agree. So if the Son is unique to that of which the Father possesses, That means the Son is the same.
Okay, thank you.
Point
So
closed.
30 seconds are up. Okay, you haven't answered the question.
Okay, so you get 30 seconds.
Is begottenness?
I'm going to give you 30 seconds and I'll respond.
Yeah, is begottenness an essential property? Yes or no?
It's an essential property to the Son.
Good.
It showcases
good.
what
So
makes the Son the Son.
Good. So it's a hypostatic property, not a divine property. Correct?
It's a hypostatic property and not a divine property.
Yes. So the Son,
it's
Son
both.
has his own individuating.
Because
Sir,
deity-
you don't even know
became
your own
flesh.
theology. So the Son,
deity became flesh.
sir, listen. The Son has his own individuating properties that the other persons don't have. That's what makes them distinct.
Not in his fullness.
Lord, sir, the Son. Okay.
Libiana, can you read Colossians 2:9?
The Son,
I'll
he
answer
is.
all your questions.
Okay, you're. Well,
Go to Colossians 2:9. Please, bro, save me the spill.
one sec. Yeah. So the Son, okay.
Can you read?
Can you let me finish? The Son, he is begotten, and that's what makes him distinct from the Father, who is unbegotten. These are properties of the hypostasis, not of the divine substance, correct?
Yes.
Good. So these properties of the hypostasis are not essential to the divine essence, meaning a hypostasis could be truly God, truly have the divine essence, and not have these individuating properties, correct?
Yes.
Good. Very good. Is aseity an essential property of the divine nature?
What did you say?
Is aseity the essential property of the divine nature, or is it a hypostatic property of just the Father?
It's a hypostatic property of just the Father.
Okay, so you could be truly God and not be ase, correct?
What do you mean, "I'll say"? Can you expand?
Ase means unoriginated.
So can you be truly God and unoriginated?
Yeah.
Obviously.
And can you be truly God and be originated? Not ase.
According to Christian theology, yes.
Good. So the Father could be
Can I
true.
expand on
Wait,
that
wait,
question
wait.
now?
Last. That's the conclusion.
Because you're going to lose the train of
So
thought.
wait. So per your admission, the Father could be truly God and be originated, correct?
That's not exclusive to the Father. Bro, what do you think? You've just went in a merry-go-round.
Oh man, come
Now you're saying that he has to be generated.
What we doing here, man?
The Father. You've literally done a merry-go-round, Libiano. You affirmed to me. You were.
No. Hey man, so you could be truly God while being originated. The Father is truly God, therefore it could be the case that the Father is originated. Meaning that the Father in a possible world is begotten of another Father, and that Father is begotten of another Father, and that Father is begotten of another Father, infinity. What do they call it? Ad infinitum or something. So you have become an atheist who believes in an infinite regress of gods, sir. His other option was to say, yes, it is a divine making property to be ase, which would only mean that only the Father is truly God because only the Father is ase. Meaning that the Son becomes a lesser, lower God. And that's truly what the early church believed. It's unfortunate, man. If anybody throwing the scholars under the bus, it's gonna be me. If anybody throwing the church fathers under the bus, it's gonna be me, ma. Come on, ma. Hey, Black Doctor, where you at, man? BD. Hey, BD, I'm calling you up, man. Come on. If anybody is throwing the scholars under the bus, it's gonna be me, BD. So, Black Doctor, get out of your fridge and come talk to the Orthodox Muslim about the early church fathers.
Hello?
Yo,
Yup. Yeah,
what's going on?
not much, man. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, so where do I start? I want any scientific evidence that the moon was ever split in half and put back together.
We don't have it. We don't have it, sir. We don't have it. I'm telling you right now, we do not have it.
Okay, and if that did not happen, that would make Islam false, correct?
I didn't say it never happened. I said the moon splitting, having scientific evidence for it, we don't have that. There wouldn't be any.
Okay, so there's no evidence for that occurring, correct?
No, sir, there's no scientific evidence, but there's evidence.
What's the evidence?
We have narrations and reports of eyewitnesses.
From which locations?
In Saudi Arabia,
Okay, can you give it to me? Like,
Yeah,
you said,
Sahih.
you're talking about in your hadiths, or like, how does that work?
yeah, in my hadith, yeah.
Okay, that isn't a reliable source of historical evidence if it's written 300 years after the Prophet.
Wait, sorry, it was written what?
It was written about 200 years after the Prophet. It's not reliable sources of history.
Okay, so every single book of hadith was written 200 years after the Prophet?
Majority of them are.
Majority of them? But you're aware that there was hadiths that the companions wrote down and had books of them stuffed in boxes, right?
Show me the historical evidence that was actually dated back to that time.
Sir, what is dated back? Are you listening to Sahih Muslim and Bukhari was written years or 2 centuries after the Prophet's death, okay? But the narrations were still in circularity, hence how Imam Muslim, Ibn Hajjaj, and Al-Bukhari where they were actually able to get these because they met the companions of the Prophet.
Okay, give me proof of that. I take solid proof. Any historical...
Solid historical? What are you asking for, dude?
I'm
You know
asking
you're
for solid historical evidence. Any type of evidence.
Okay, what is that? What is that?
Any documents that actually date back to that time and actually fall in line with that actually occurring.
Okay, listen to me, dude. We do not have any, listen, you're asking me for documents in which give us the idea that there were people circulating with hadith and these things were spread all the way 200 years after and written in books, right?
Correct.
Okay, the evidence for that is the external attestation to what the Prophet would say, and that itself is found in the hadith.
Well, again, that's weak. That's not a...
How
that's
is
a
that
weak
weak?
source.
How's that? What is the evidence?
There isn't any historical evidence dating back to the time of the Prophet that this actually occurred. We're getting that...
Yes, we do. Yes, we have it because we have things narrated 200. We have things narrated, and they were written 200 years after.
Are you talking about oral...
Yes, oral transmission is not something that just poofed in 200 years after. No, there was things going on in the Arabian Peninsula that were circulating, and of those were the eyewitnesses of the moon splitting, and these stories were going around. Hence, why we have many narrations talking about the moon splitting from different companions because they saw it. It was massively transmitted.
Okay, so the companions did not write that at the time that it occurred, correct?
No, but they were writing different reports that not necessarily are the moon splitting.
So who held on to that oral tradition? For how long, and who was it that actually held on to that oral tradition?
It's not one person. There's not like a captain who declares what holds what. They all hold it. They gather in circles and they read each other reports of the Prophet.
Okay, so
contemporarily, we have evidence from the hadith, then which goes back to the Prophet.
Why did it take 200 years to write it down? Why didn't they just write it down immediately?
200 years. We have books of Abu Huraira radiyallahu anhu. He was a contemporary companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have stated in our books that Abu Huraira used to have a book of hadith that he'd write down that he would literally stick in his cupboard.
Can you show me the historical evidence for that?
Okay, can you stop talking so fast? Relax, appreciate it. Would you like a book?
I would like any historical documentation that actually proves what your claim, that your premise. That you
okay, and what would that be?
Any historical evidence that dates back to the century that you just provided.
So, no, dude, we don't, listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. We don't have a book that was published at the time of the Prophet in which records that these people used to have books of hadith. We have people that come after that take from others that were orally transmitting this, and then we take from that Abu Huraira used to literally have a book of hadith that he'd write down his own notes that he would stick in his cupboard and close his cupboard every time he doesn't use it.
Okay, so then again, you're circular reasoning here.
That's not circular reasoning. That's not circular reasoning. Because these evidence. No, it's not, because we still have a chain of narration that goes back to Abu Huraira himself.
Can you show me the proof of the chain of narration being historically accurate? Go ahead.
How would you like me to do that? You have an arbitrary. I'm waiting for any evidence. Sir, you have an arbitrary criteria here. What is the criteria to prove something is historical?
It being historical. What?
That's circular. You cannot say the criteria of something to be historical is it being historical. Are you okay? Are you
It has
okay,
to have
sir?
some historical.
What is that? What is that? What is historical? If you're using the word
Any type of
historical,
any type of evidence is actually.
what is
occurred.
evidence to you? What is evidence? I have evidence, but it doesn't date. Listen, I have a
Okay,
book
so you don't have any
in which was.
manuscriptual evidence, correct?
Listen. Of course, we have manuscripts, but these manuscripts do not have to date all the way back to the prophet for something to be true at the time of the prophet. Do you understand? But we
Okay,
have chains
so
of narrations. We have chains of narrations that date back to the prophet. But the book necessarily, when it was published, it was not around during the prophet's time. That's why we have oral transmission and people transmitting things with what the prophet said and what the companions did and what they said as well.
So how do you know that it wasn't just made up? Can you show me every historical evidence for each person's?
How do I know it wasn't made up?
Yeah, like how do you know it's not made up? Like what?
Yeah, because well, no, that would be very, very, very unlikely because we are okay. Now we're
so there's
using
a likelihood
induction.
of that happening, correct?
Listen, we use induction. That is the generality of our epistemology, sir. Okay, our foundation's not deduction; it's induction. We have every right to believe that the chains of it. Look, Sahih Muslim 8a, for example, that hadith is massively transmitted in Basra and Kufa and Medina and Mecca and many other places by different companions in each chain. Therefore, we can say the likelihood of every single person making that up is going to be under 0.1% because of its like almost close impossibility. Sorry?
That's your own assumption, by the way.
That is not an assumption. That is no. That's actually no. That's a correct proposition because we actually understand that the hundreds of companions in which didn't know each other, in which narrated this differently at different places, gives us the justification to believe that it was not made up. Sir, what is your belief? Are you a Christian? Are you an atheist? Or what are you?
I'm coming from an atheist perspective.
You're an atheist?
Atheist perspective, yes.
No, are you an atheist? Not atheist perspective. Are you atheist?
Doesn't matter. Don't commit to quick fallacy.
That's not a too quick fallacy.
It doesn't matter what
that's not a too quick fallacy. Sir, that's not a too quick fallacy. You don't know what you're talking about. What is your belief? What is your background?
It doesn't matter. I'm committed to.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I've already responded to the point. Now I need to know what is your belief. You'll never say I responded to your point. That's the point. You won't ever concede. Now I'm asking you, what is your belief, sir?
Even if no, hold on.
What is your belief, sir?
You're running away.
You're Christian. You're Christian. You're
running away. You're running away.
Can you say Jesus is not God?
Brother, you're running away.
So you're Christian. Perfect. He didn't say it. Cool. Listen to me, my friend. Christianity, now it's not a too quick because I already answered the objection. Therefore, me trying to pause hypocrisy against you isn't. I don't care what you say. It was sufficient, actually. I provided the evidence how. And I get, you checked his repos, he's Christian? Perfect. Okay. So as a Christian, okay, what is is there a likelihood, a very small, minuscule likelihood of every single eyewitness in which witnessed the crucifixion, they could all be lying? Would they all be lying? Inductively. Answer the question, sir.
So you're going to run away from the first point?
That's not running. Can you answer my question?
Are you gonna address
Can you answer my question? Sir, that was already dealt with. Are you going to answer my question or am I going to drop you? Which one is it?
Yeah, you could go ahead and drop me because you're just going to prove to everyone.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. You can't listen. You can't justify why your crucifix. Thanks for the gift. You can't justify why the people who witnessed the crucifixion weren't all making that shit up. You know why? Because you can't. That's why epistemologies are based off of induction anyway. You can't prove that it's impossible for them to all lie. That's why you use induction. You cannot use deduction. Happened about 2,000 years ago. Quote unquote happened. Thanks for the gifts. Barakallahu feek. What is wrong with you, bro? All right. You can drop me because you don't know what you're talking about. Ran from being a Christian. He knew he was a Christian. He didn't tell me because he knew he was cooked.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Are you talking hot in the comments?
Yeah, because remember last time when you kind of gangbanged on me, the fucking other live stream with fucking Islamic Apex?
Hey, can you watch your language, please? Is that what Jesus Christ...
I'm just saying that's what happened. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Can you please not... Can you watch your language, please? Thank you.
I watch my language starting now. I'm just saying that's what happened, bro. You had a triple team me, bro.
That's fine. Can you please watch your language? Is that okay?
I got you, bro.
All right. How can I help you today?
Can you go back to that same talking point initially, bro?
The Gospels?
Not the Gospels, bro. The Deuteronomy 28:29.
No, let's talk about the Gospels.
No, I want to talk about this, bro.
What about the Gospels?
You was bringing that up. You was just bringing it up, so I'm trying to bring it back up.
Okay, do you reject the Septuagint?
Actually, I don't.
Okay, so does the Septuagint say child?
It does say child, but when you looked at the definition of child, there was multiple definitions that you could use. It wasn't only just child.
Yeah, of course. So the only two definitions of pais, that's the root word, is child or servant. So it doesn't say pais. The pais is only the root word. Paida means child in Greek. That's what the word used there. Paida. It's the feminine form, and it means a female child.
Why are you talking about Greek though? It's Hebrew.
The Septuagint is in Hebrew?
Well, I'm just talking about the definition of the word that was being used as child.
The Septuagint.
I'm not talking about the Septuagint. I'm not talking about
Just
Septuagint.
wait. The Septuagint is in Hebrew.
I'm not talking about Septuagint.
We are talking about the Septuagint.
I'm not talking about it though.
I just asked you, well, does the Septuagint say child? You said yes.
I'm talking about the verse in hand, bro.
Yeah, the verse, is
22,
the verse
28,
in hand
29.
is from the Septuagint.
But it's in Hebrew, bro.
The Septuagint isn't in Hebrew. Septuagint is Greek.
The Old Testament?
Yeah, Septuagint.
The Old Testament is not Hebrew?
Not the Septuagint recension.
I'm just trying to look at the Hebrew verse, bro.
No, that's fine. I'm saying, do you accept the Septuagint or not?
If it's accepted by Christian scholars, then yeah.
Actually, Christians, up until the Protestant Reformation, used the Septuagint. They never used the Hebrew Old Testament. And Jesus and the disciples quote from the Septuagint, not from the Hebrew text.
Okay, so you're saying paida is used to describe specifically for child or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're trying to say exactly.
Yeah, Jesus in the Gospel of Mark says paida is as young as 2 years old. Not Jesus, sorry, the Gospel of Matthew says paida is as young as 2 years old.
So you're saying when you click on just the root word, though, it has multiple definitions?
No, it's two definitions. It can mean child or servant. But that's pais. Paida specifically refers to child, female child.
All right.
Yeah, so...
Now, I guess since I don't know my research like that, you can have me on this talking point. But can we actually look at the context of the other verses, though? Can we look at the context of the other verses? The 3 verses before, when it talks about
the verse
how it says
before
in
talks
25.
about the verse before talks about a girl that is betrothed, and this verse talks about a girl that is not betrothed.
Yeah, married and not married, correct?
Betrothed is not married; it's promised for marriage.
Same thing, right?
Not same.
Someone that's... All right, so it says in the first one, it explains the reason why. In the first, from 25 to like 27, the verse 26 to 27, remember, explains why the man is only punishable for death. But when you look at the second one, it says both of them are punishable.
Yeah, because the first one is married and the second one isn't, or promised to be married.
How does that make sense? Because it's the same situation. Because if both situations are rape, according to you guys.
Can you stop using those words, please? Okay, I have to drop you now.
All right.
Request back up. TikTok shop. We love you so much. We love the TikTok community. We spread peace and love and prosperity, and we love everybody. Okay. Yes.
All right, so why would the author mention the same situation both times, despite the only little difference being that one is betrothed and one is not betrothed?
You tell me. The verse is clear.
And
brother,
I'm just saying though, like logically, it doesn't make sense. Can you agree with me on that? It doesn't make sense logically by the author.
It makes the God doesn't make sense.
I'm just saying the author doesn't make sense logically.
So God doesn't make sense.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm saying you're taking it out of context.
I'm not taking it out of
the view that you're taking.
Let's pull it up. It's not the view I'm taking. It's the view that's been taken for the past 2,000 years by rabbinic scholars and by church fathers and by Christian scholars. So, if everybody's wrong except for you, right? Anyways, let's read it again here. The Septuagint makes it very clear. Here we go. So, verse 27 is not talking about grape, by the way. Sorry, it is talking about grape, but in this context, this woman is what's it called? She's promised to be married. Here, okay, it's talking about grape, but because this woman is not promised to be married, this woman, because she is defiled now, she's to marry her grapist. Okay, so let's read here. And if any should find the child virgin, whoever was not espoused. Right there. Can you read that for me?
Yes.
Right there. What does that say?
And using force.
So it's talking about grape, right?
Honestly, bro, I don't know much about Septuagint, bro, so it's like I can't really.
All right. Anyway, do you believe in the Gospels, bro?
I do, bro.
All right. Who wrote the Gospels?
Hello?
Sorry?
You said something? I believe in the Gospels.
Who wrote the Gospels?
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
What's the evidence? Do you know what the Synoptic problem is?
I do not.
The Synoptic problem is we have three Gospels that resemble each other very much, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. These Gospels, they share a lot of traditions, but they also share different traditions. So, for example, we know that Mark came first. We know that Matthew and Luke used Mark. Why? Because Matthew and Luke, okay, every time they share something with Mark, it's always in the same wording and the same sequence as Mark. Same story. Almost always. But when Matthew and Luke share a tradition not found in Mark, they always share it, but not in the same sequence. So they have the same tradition, saying of Jesus, but it comes in a different context. So the blessings that Jesus gives, in Matthew, it's the Sermon on the Mount. In Luke, it's a Sermon on the Plains. Okay? The Lord's Prayer, completely different context in Matthew. Same prayer, same wording. But in Luke and Matthew comes into... So what we're trying to say, this is the Synoptic problem. This is what leads scholars to believe that Matthew and Luke definitely used Mark as a source. Because Matthew and Luke, whenever they overlap with Mark, they use almost identical wording, the same sequence. But when Matthew and Luke share a tradition together, not found in Mark, but they share almost the same exact wording. So they must have also used, other than Mark, they must have used another source document. This is in German, the Quelle source. Quelle means source, so that's where we get the gospel Q. Q source. The Q source is a gospel that Luke and Matthew would have used beside Mark to write their gospels. This proves that they were not eyewitnesses. They didn't know who Jesus was personally. They didn't interview any eyewitnesses because they copied each other.
I mean, I wouldn't say that we as Christians claim that all these Bible authors are eyewitnesses to Jesus.
Well, Matthew
we know that from the other disciples, they conspired them.
Yeah, Matthew is not an eyewitness because Matthew copied Mark. Whoever wrote Matthew copied Mark. Why?
I mean, you can't fully prove that.
Yeah,
though.
we can't fully prove that.
You're just saying you're saying this is a theory.
But we can fully prove that because almost everything in Mark is copied by Matthew word for word with slight divergences. If Matthew is describing his personal experience, it's impossible that he's gonna copy or get everything word for word as Mark says it. Even some of Mark's editorial comments The personal commentary of Mark, sometimes Matthew says the same thing. So out of the 3 years of Jesus' ministry, it's impossible that he would have, if he's writing his own personal testimony, the same exact traditions that Mark has in the same exact wording and the same exact sequence. We know Matthew copied Mark. This is consensus. Nobody disagrees. Except for a minority of scholars who, very, very tiny minority who believe in Matthean priority. But
What's that?
That Matthew actually came first. But there isn't a lot of evidence for that. But even then, they wouldn't say that Matthew is an eyewitness. They just say that Matthew came first and Mark copied Matthew. So we know Matthew's not an eyewitness. Internally and externally. Internally and externally. Matthew, the author, never identifies himself as Matthew. The author stays anonymous. The author,
So why does it matter so much that Matthew's not eyewitness, bro?
because you claim he's an eyewitness. And you claim that he's reliable because he's an eyewitness. If he's not an eyewitness, that makes him an anonymous source. If he's an anonymous source, then he was pulling from source material. And there was no way for him to confirm the source material. He just wrote what kind of traditions that he copied Mark, and he got his logia, his sayings material from Q. And he expanded upon it. And we know this why, because whenever he's copying Mark and Jesus seems less divine, Matthew, because it has a higher Christology, makes Jesus more divine. So he changes it a little bit. For example, in Mark 13, Jesus says, in Mark 10, verse 18, Jesus says, the young rich ruler comes to Jesus and asks him what?
In Mark 3.
He says, good teacher, right?
Oh, yeah.
Continue.
Why do you believe
He says, good teacher, how do I inherit eternal life? How does Jesus respond?
Why do you call me good? Only God is good.
Why do you call me good? Only God is good. Matthew copies this word for word, same sequence, but changes some things. Instead of the young rich ruler calling Jesus good teacher, Matthew erases good. The man comes up to Jesus, instead of calling him good teacher, in Matthew he says teacher. That's it. How does Jesus, and then he says, how do you inherit eternal life? Same wording, same thing. You know how Jesus responds in Matthew?
What?
Why do you ask me about what is good? He doesn't say, why do you call me good, like in Mark? He says, why do you ask me about what is good? He completely changes the nature of the question, the nature of the response, and the negation of divinity there. He does not do this once or twice, but he does this many times. He does this with the woman subject to bleeding for 12 years. The same, he's copying Mark word for word. The sequence is the same, and then it comes to Jesus. He's in the markets. There's a crowd. A woman touches him, correct? And he says in Mark, who touched me? I felt the power come out of me. Who touched me? Correct?
Yeah.
The disciples say, we're in a crowded market. We don't know who touched you. Could be anyone. In Matthew, Jesus doesn't ask who touched me. Jesus already knows right away who touched him. So Matthew, copy. This sounds less divine. Take it out. Let's make Jesus know who touched him right away, because if he asks who touches me, he doesn't know who touched him. He's ignorant. So there's Christological development. And he does this with many, many different examples. But the synoptic problem is why exactly we know the Gospels were not written by eyewitnesses. It's impossible that the Gospels were written by eyewitnesses.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to look into that more, but I'd say like each certain gospel kind of highlights different things about Jesus.
Yeah,
so
because,
like, I feel like
because each certain gospel believes something different about Jesus, because the authors were not, what's the word, in unison in what they believe.
So you're saying,
Jesus
so you're saying there's no verse in Mark that proves Jesus' divinity? Is that what you're trying to say?
No.
There's no verse in Mark that proves Jesus' divinity?
Mark is very low Christology. Very low Christology.
So if I can find you a verse with this whole synoptic bullshit.
Go ahead and try. Go ahead and try it. You're not going to find anything in Mark. Your best bet is John's gospel.
All right, bro. I mean, I probably don't got the verse on me right now.
No
But
worries. Thank you for coming, man.
yeah.
Have a good one.
I'll try and come back if I can.
No worries. Bye-bye.
All right.
Make sure you follow me. I go live every day. I go live sometimes twice a day every day, but I usually go at least once a day. Now, make sure to double tap that screen, share the live. If you already have not subscribed to my YouTube, hit the subscribe button and turn on post and live notifications for YouTube as well. I do post and go live on YouTube here and there. It's going to be in my bio. And yeah, continue liking and sharing. Barakallahu fikum. Okay, sir, back to you, right? Do you believe in the hypostatic union?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Do you believe in the communication of idioms?
The communication of idioms, can you define that for me?
The communication of idioms is going to be the relation between the divine and the human nature.
The relation between them?
Yes. Simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in the hypostatic union, Jesus is fully man and fully God. He's truly man and truly God. There's no difference?
Good. Can you tell me the distinction between Jesus being a man and God versus a square circle?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jesus remains in his divinity when he becomes incarnate, but he just takes on the form of a man. But he still remains in his divinity.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello, sir. Hello? Oh my god, this guy's Wi-Fi. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh my god, your Wi-Fi, it's not good, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, are you okay? Is your Wi-Fi okay? Hello?
Hello.
Bro.
Hello, can you hear
me? Yes. Can you hear me? You're lagging really bad.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. It should be good now. I just hit a dead spot.
Okay, good. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Sounds good. Okay, so what did you ask me?
What did I ask you?
Yeah, before you started lagging.
I didn't ask you anything. I answered your question. I answered your question.
Okay, answer the question.
About the hypostatic union? You're asking?
Yeah, what's the difference between that and a square circle?
You're asking me how can it be full... Well, a square circle... okay. So that's a horrible representation of what's going on entirely.
Explain.
Explain how? Well, because Jesus, when he becomes incarnate, right, when he takes on the form of a man, he remains in his divinity. He remains in his divinity. He's just taking on the form of a man. He can humble himself to do that.
How is that different than a square circle? How's that any different?
Well, because a square circle that doesn't make any sense.
Why doesn't it make any sense?
You can't, like a square... Well, because there's a okay. I understand what you're getting at, and this already doesn't make any sense.
You're struggling to articulate.
I'm struggling to articulate. Well, because I'm not struggling to articulate myself. I'm trying to come down to explain it to you because you're already misunderstanding the entire thing.
No, I'm not misunderstanding. I'm just asking you to tell me the difference and concept between a square circle and the hypostatic union in virtue of their relation.
Okay, that's fine. So in the relations, you can be Jesus' hypostatic union. He's fully man and fully God. So when he's on earth, he has the properties of a man. He borrows the properties of human nature. So like he has to eat, he has to sleep, he has to do those things, but he remains in his divinity through his connection to the Father.
Oh, okay.
Because the Father
So
is in him and he is in the Father.
Okay, so explain. Okay, you're still not answering the question. You need to explain to me how.
I'm explaining to you how the hypostatic union works.
Wait. No. You're not answering my question. My question essentially is, what is the difference between the concept of the communication of idioms or the hypostatic union and the concept of a square circle? Explain to me the distinction, because I haven't yet seen a distinction, and I need you to give me a distinction so we can move on with the argument.
Give you a distinction between the hypostatic union between his human nature and his divine nature?
No, brother. I want you to listen to me again.
Is that what you're asking me to?
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm asking you, do you know do you have a distinguishing factor between the concept of a square circle and the concept of the hypostatic union?
Well, I've never been asked this question before, so I'm trying to think of how to word this.
Just tell me the difference. Just tell me the difference.
So you're saying a square circle. Let me understand. I understand that. So from my understanding, what you mean by square circle?
Oh my God,
square
you are lagging terribly.
So in that regard, a circle cannot be a square? Yeah, listen, you're saying a circle cannot be a square, and a square cannot be a circle. A circle is round. A square has four sides. So a square circle doesn't make any sense.
No. Why can't a square not be a circle? That's what I'm asking you.
Why can't a square not be a circle? Because a square, by its definition, is not a circle.
Okay, good. Now, why is that the case, though? Why? Why is a square different than a circle? What are the distinguishing properties?
Well, what are the distinguishing? A circle is round. It doesn't have any sides. It's just one continuous line in a circle. It's 360 degrees. A square is four sides, four.
Good.
Right.
And God is all-knowing, and man is not omniscient. So it's the same concept. There's nothing different. There's nothing different between a square circle and man and God, because God is all-knowing, man is not all-knowing. A square is not. It doesn't have any right degree angles. A square has right degree angles, and a circle doesn't. It's the same exact concept. It's literally, there's no distinction.
Okay, so I understand what you're getting at. So what's your issue with the hypostatic union? So you don't think that he can be fully man and fully God at the same time because of that?
No, that's absolutely a contradiction.
It's not a logical contradiction.
Yeah,
it's proven within the Trinity. It's proven within the Trinity. The Trinity proves how he can do that.
Trinity is also a logical contradiction. Just 1 second. Listen. So
explain to me how.
Wait, we're talking about the hypostatic union. Give me a second, okay? The hypostatic union posits that Jesus Christ. Dude, 1 second. The hypostatic union posits that Jesus Christ is fully man and fully God at the same time, right?
Yes.
Good. Sounds good. And does this mean that Jesus is all-knowing and not all-knowing at the same time?
Does it mean that he's all-knowing and not all-knowing at the same time? No.
Okay, so is he all-knowing and not all-knowing, or is he just all-knowing?
Well, okay. So Jesus, when he is on earth as he's incarnate, right? He's going to do. He's doing the will of his Father. He doesn't come to do his own will. So he is.
Brother,
on
that's not what
earth.
I'm asking you, brother.
In the Father. I understand that.
See, okay, I know. Okay, so you understand. You know that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you: was Jesus all-knowing when he was on earth? Yes or no? Simple question.
Was he all-knowing when he was on earth?
Yeah.
Let me see. His divine nature was all-knowing, yes.
No, that's not what I'm asking you. Natures don't know things. I'm asking you, was Jesus himself, right, when he was on earth, was he a person that knew everything? Was he an individual that knew everything? Or did he not know everything? Which one is it?
Well, I mean, you have examples of both in the Bible. That's why I'm confused on how to answer your question, because he could know that he knew the hearts of people when they were thin.
You're lagging,
so,
brother.
I mean, people talk about the hour. Sorry.
Okay, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're getting carried away. Okay, I'm asking you: did he know everything or not, or I don't know? Which one is it? Did he know everything or not? Yeah, simple question.
I don't know how to answer this question.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you need to learn. Yeah. Okay. So before
I'd have to look and see what the church teaches on this.
You said this is your meat and potatoes, man, but you don't even know the simple concepts of or the
Well,
simple.
it is. Well, I mean, yeah,
ideology.
because the reason being is because like you don't even believe that God can be a Trinity, and so
Yeah, it's
like
impossible. That's a contradictory idea.
the sun coming down. It's not though, and like
Of course it is.
it's not a contradiction at all. It's not, and like I can prove that to you easily. I really can.
No, you can't. Sir. You said it's your meat and potatoes.
Explain to me how it's.
You said it's your. You said it's your meat and potatoes.
I said the Trinity is the meat. Yeah, the Trinity is my meat and potatoes.
You know damn well the hypostatic union ain't no meat and potatoes for you because you can't even tell me if Jesus was all knowing on earth. Okay, so let's just push that out the way. Okay, so if you want to talk hypostatic union, you got to be able to answer basic questions such as the following: is Jesus all knowing? Was he all knowing on earth? Like simple like that, right? And then we can talk about the quote unquote problem with the consubstantiality of Jesus and the Father. But for now, bro, I think it's time for you to go. You need to go study. You need to go home. You need to eat. You need to do whatever you need to do. Then you can come back and we can talk about the crucifixion with Bar Ehrman and his blogs, and we can also talk about Jesus Christ, his omniscience. Was he omniscient or not? What do you say?
That's fine. I'll follow you. That's fine. I'll follow you, and I'll do that. And I'm still going to provide you the links and everything. That's fine.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
But I think I really do. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But just be ready.
I'm ready. Don't worry. No, I'm gonna be here. Don't worry about all that. What the hell is this Wi-Fi? All right, bro. Have a good night. Thanks.
No. But in this, then I can say
is the Bible the Word of God?
The Word of God is our word, which is what we read. This is the
okay. So the Bible is Jesus. So the Bible is Jesus. So the Bible is Jesus Christ because Jesus Christ is the Word of the Lord.
You're misinterpreting. The Word is what comes.
No, I'm not, sir. I'm not misinterpreting. I'm arguing against your argument. You're saying when it says the Word of the Lord came to Abraham, that means Jesus came to Abraham. No, it doesn't mean that Jesus came to Abraham. Bro. It means that God spoke to Abraham. When the word of the Lord comes to Abraham, it just means that God spoke to Abraham. That's all it means.
Okay, and you argue
that's point number one. Point number two, you said that. One second. Point number two, you said that Abraham called the word of the Lord Lord. That makes him Yahweh, the Most High God. Well, what do you do with Sarah calling Abraham Lord, or with Esau calling Jacob my Lord?
That's not the same thing.
Why is it not the same thing?
That's in like hierarchy of humans.
Okay. So then Jesus, when he's called Lord, it's just in hierarchy.
Bro, you misunderstand. Matter of fact, can I go to Hebrews for you? Because I don't want to go.
You can go to Hebrews, but I'm gonna poop on you if you go to Hebrews. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Try to go to Hebrews.
I can go to Hebrews.
Yeah, you're gonna go to Hebrews 1. You're gonna say that he was made lower than the angels for a little while.
No, I'm actually not going to Hebrews 1 at all.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. You go to Hebrews.
Okay. I'm reading Hebrews 9, verses 11. It talks about the blood of Christ, which we see that Jesus was the Messiah who was sacrificed and brought to life, right?
Huh?
Okay. So we got the blood of Christ. When Christ... My bad. It's kind of distracting. Can you read it, please?
Yeah.
My bad. The feedback's kind of distracting me. But the blood of Christ. When Christ came as a high priest of the good things, right? Here's how they're saying it in interpretation or conception that are already here. He went through the greater and more perfect tabernacle that is not man-made, as you've already confirmed. Okay. That is to say, not a part of this creation, which means that he was not there as a creation, but he begat, which means just like before you say anything to that, because I know I just spiked something in you. It says that the Word was with God and the Word was God. We also see him as the Word. So as we continue to read, right? He did not enter by means of bloods and goats and calves, but he entered the most holy place once for all by his own blood, having obtained them.
Yeah. So, right. So Jesus is the high priest of God, right?
They're the same person. Is it?
Yes.
When did it say high priest of God?
Who's he a high priest of?
You're misunderstanding this.
Who's he a high priest of?
He's the high priest over the people. He literally took out.
Okay, so he's the high priest over the people who makes an atonement to God.
Dude, that's God in the flesh.
Right. So Jesus is the high priest of God. Yahweh is not the high priest of God. Yahweh is not a high priest. Jesus is a high priest. Yahweh doesn't die. Jesus died. Yahweh is not exalted. Jesus is exalted. Yahweh doesn't have a God. Jesus has a God.
When it comes to the Father, but by me, I'm the way, the truth, and life. What do you think that means, bro?
Yeah, it means Jesus spoke the truth. Jesus came to teach you the way, and Jesus came to grant you eternal life by the permission of God the Father.
Do you know why he stepped out of power, which he had before? He stepped out of power to come back because Adam did that off. Jesus was already there, which means he is God.
Again, he could have all the power in the world. The point is, he is not Yahweh, the Most High God.
Bro, Yahweh's the Father. Yeshua or Jesus is the Son.
Okay, so Jesus is not Yahweh.
Bro, they are the same existing.
Is Jesus Yahweh?
Yahweh's the Father.
So he's not Yahweh.
You're a funny person.
Is he Yahweh or is he not Yahweh?
Yahweh is the Father. I just said that.
Okay, so Jesus is not Yahweh.
They are separate in the case of existence and being, but they're also meshed together because of their habits. Because of how they are.
Again, is that a yes or a no? Is Jesus Yahweh?
Bro, you can't ask it that straight.
It's Jesus Yahweh.
No, like you literally can't ask that. You're trying to get around what three people now have proved to you by Scripture. You're going to understand.
You've proved that Jesus is a dying, rising Savior who is exalted by God and given his authority to him by God, who made an atonement as a high priest to God, meaning that he himself is not God.
Bro, the only thing I can do is pray for you. You're not going to have understanding of it unless you actually give your life over to Christ, bro.
I give my life over to who?
To Christ.
What am I giving my life to?
You're giving your life to the Most High. You can't get
Jesus
to the Father.
Is the Most High?
Yes, Jesus is the Most High.
Is the Most High given authority?
You don't understand.
Is the Most High given authority, sir?
Look, I won't involve myself in a foolish known conversation.
Is the Most High given authority?
We don't have the same spiritual, understanding, bro. So I don't want to come.
Right. That's why you want to be a headless goat and just follow.
Okay. So now you're insulting me. I'm not insulting you, bro.
I'm not insulting you either. I'm just stating a point.
You're calling me a headless goat.
No. I'm just stating a matter of fact that you as a Trinitarian. Sir, just listen. You as a Trinitarian, okay, you have a dilemma.
Okay.
Somehow you have.
Now I'm a Trinitarian.
What do you mean now? You're a Trinitarian. You're not? Are you not?
No, I'm not a Trinitarian. No.
You don't believe in the Trinity?
I believe in God, eternal, just three persons, but that's not being a Trinitarian.
That's literally what a Trinitarian is.
What is this dude talking about on the themes, talking about don't stutter? That's a speech impediment. That's what I have. I can't help that.
Guys, please don't make fun of his speech. Thank you, guys. So, sir.
That's like telling somebody not to be special ed. You can't tell somebody not to be autistic.
Okay. Just listen. What's the difference between God and Jesus?
Bro, you cannot dissect them. It's not possible.
Is there a difference, or are they one and the same? God just is Jesus.
I pray that God gives you understanding, He reveals Himself through His Son, bro.
God gave you understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pass it on to me. Is God Jesus?
They are the same eternally existing in three different persons.
So there are three gods?
No.
How many gods are there?
There's one God eternally existing in three persons.
Who is the one God? Is it Father, Son, or Holy Spirit?
Why are you limiting God? Why are you doing that?
Oh, you don't limit God?
No, I don't limit God.
Can God become under my foot if he wanted to?
Bro, you don't make sense with that question.
No, wait, you said God can do anything. He has no limits.
He can do everything but fail. But then on that,
okay, so he can't do everything.
Hold on, because God the Father wouldn't come down here because we would burn up in that.
Okay, so God the Father is too great to come down, but the Son is less great. That's why he could come down.
I pray that God reveals himself to you, bro.
So God the Father is a greater God than God the Son, right? And he left. Hey man, what can I say?
Three persons, Father, Son, Jesus, the Holy Trinity, Spirit. Islam is, on the other hand, is spiritually monolithic, which
monolithic. What?
That God, Allah, is singly entity.
Monolithic or monotheistic?
Monotheistic.
Okay, and you agree your religion's not monotheistic, right?
It's not.
Takbir. So your religion teaches that there's more than one God.
No, our religion teaches
mono,
that
sir, mono. No, sir.
It's
Sir,
the Trinity.
Time out. Sir, is the Trinity monotheistic?
No.
Thank you very much. So the Trinity is multiple gods.
No, the Trinity is multiple. Dude, the Trinity is so.
Do you know what monotheism is? You donut. You're
it's a singular entity. Look into it.
That's not what it is. Monotheism.
You teach Allah.
Okay. Monotheism is going to be the belief in worshiping one. No, be quiet. Monotheism is going to be the belief or the teaching or the position held to that there's and that this God is worshipped. Okay?
Without division or partnership.
That being said,
without division or partnership.
Okay, but wait. That's not what. Sorry, your God's divided into three.
Yes, without division or partnership.
So your God is three parts.
It's one singular.
Is your God three parts?
Singular in one. It's 3 in 1.
Is your God three parts?
It's 3 in 1.
Explain the Trinity. Explain the Trinity. You're not.
It's Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Would you say it's polytheistic?
Okay. I can explain the Trinity very simply.
Is it polytheistic?
Just as you can be.
Shut your mouth. Is it polytheistic or monotheistic? Which one?
It's definitely not polytheistic. But anyway.
Okay, so which? Answer the question. Answer the question. Which one is it? Monotheistic or polytheistic? It's one or the other. Answer the question, buddy. Let's get it. Answer the question. Monolithic hara. Answer the question. Is it monotheistic or polytheistic? Hello? Are you going to answer the question, sir? Hello, sir? I didn't even mute him this time. He's just not talking. 3-in-1 Nescafe is crazy. Sir, can you unmute your mic and answer the damn question that I'm asking you, bro?
Like, it would technically be monotheistic.
There you go. Good boy. Finally. Okay, cool. So the Trinity is a monotheistic religion, right? Or it's a monotheistic position or belief.
Positioning, but it's not in one. That's the whole thing that you're
is your religion
you're
one
separate
God?
Because you guys separate. You guys don't even deem Jesus as the Messiah. That's the whole thing.
You are literally lying because the Quran the Quran says Jesus is the Messiah. So we do believe he's the Messiah. No, are you stupid? Brother, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Are you okay? Have you read a verse in the Quran where Jesus is literally called the Messiah in every other verse? Are you okay, brother? Brother and Adam, are you okay? Because Isa alayhi salam is literally إِنَّمَا الْمَسِيحُ عِيسَى بْنَ مَرْيَمَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. Chapter 4 verse 157. Jesus is called the Messiah. Are you slow? وَكَلِمَتُهُ أَلْقَاهَا إِلَى مَرْيَمَ. There's so many verses where Jesus is called the Messiah.
Check. Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you a Christian?
Yes, sir. What's going on, mate? You good, yeah?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you give me an intellectual reason as to why you aren't a Muslim?
Yeah, sure. The Quran affirms the Torah and the Gospel.
All right, does the Quran affirm these holistically or partially?
Partially.
Partially. Okay.
partially.
Then there's no yeah, because I believe that the Quran does not affirm the entirety of the Gospels in the Old Testament. I believe that the Quran affirms
The Torah and the Gospel, then that means the Quran is false, right?
no, because it doesn't affirm it holistically. It only affirms it partially.
Okay.
It doesn't believe in the
do you
falsehood
have
that is
any
found
evidence?
in. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Evidence
sure.
for
Do you
what?
have
That is
evidence that says
evidence.
partially?
Yeah, chapter 5, verse 48, and Ibn Kathir, he cites a quote that goes back to the pious predecessors, in which tells us that it's a partial confirmation.
Wait, sorry, say that again?
Yeah, so Ibn Kathir, he cites evidence that goes back to the pious predecessors.
No,
in
sorry.
which say,
Can you give me the verse?
yeah,
Again, sorry.
chapter 5, verse 48. Yeah,
That's the Quran, chapter.
yeah, that's the Quran.
Verse 48, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chapter
Said
5, verse
partially
48.
affirms it, yeah. Surah
Yeah.
Al-Ma'idah.
The context of it is what alludes to that, and the tafsir itself.
I can see this. And so we have revealed to you, O Prophet, the book with the truth, the confirmation of previous scriptures, and supreme authority on them. So judge between them. By what Allah has revealed, and do not follow their desires over the truth that has come to you. For each of you, we have ordained a code of law and a way of life. If Allah is
Yeah, so
willing.
the Quran is judging by the previous scriptures, right? And this is talking about the Old Testament and the Gospels, right? And with that being said, the Quran here, the context of it judging means that whatever conforms with the Quran is going to be true, whatever disagrees with the Quran is going to be false, whatever neither agrees or disagrees is going to be left upon us being agnostic. We are not going to affirm or deny. And Ibn Kathir says this exactly in his tafsir, and he quotes At-Tabari, who is from the pious predecessors.
Yeah, I think your verse doesn't really specify that it confirms
Yes, it does.
partially, like you said.
Yeah, it does though. I told you that the Quran judging between the Gospels and the Torah, or the Gospels and the Torah, all that it means is that whatever conforms with the Quran is true, whatever contradicts it is false, whatever neither contradicts or attests to be true, we don't confirm or deny. That is found in Tafsir Ibn Kathir. And he actually cites it back to At-Tabari himself, which is a pious predecessor that only came about 200 years after the Prophet.
Okay, so then can you justify Surah 3 verse 3, because it says
That doesn't mean anything. That is just attesting to the truth value of the Torah that was given to Moses and the gospel that was given to Jesus.
If you let me speak, like
You can, yeah. You can make it. Yeah, speak.
Yeah. Thank you. Because it says Surah 3 verse 3 says, it has revealed this book to you, setting forth the truth and confirmation of the earliest books. And
that's not talking about the Old and New Testament. That's talking about the Torah that was given to Moses and the Injil that was given to Jesus.
Correct. So
okay, so what's the problem?
You gotta like chill out. I know you had like some guests before, but you gotta let me speak.
No, I am. I'm just asking you what the problem is.
I didn't let me finish reading the verse. But
go, dude. We don't need you to read the verse. Just go ahead and explain.
Yeah, but the way you are interpreting, you're not interpreting what exactly.
Okay, so
what
interpret it for me.
says.
Interpret it for me. Go right ahead.
I don't have to interpret it. I just have to read what the Quran says. And
when you read it,
if the Quran, can you give me just 1 sec? If the Quran is telling me that to confirm the Torah and the Gospel, then that gives me the indication that the Quran cannot be true.
What is the Torah and Gospel?
Just let me the Torah and the Gospel.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, I can tell you what it is, but it should be you the one telling me about.
No, sir. Tell me what it is.
Sure, no problem. So, the Torah is a compilation of 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. So it's
I don't believe that. Good. So with that definition of the Torah, I don't believe the Quran is being.
Asked me a question.
You answered it, and I don't believe the Quran here.
You
already answered it. The 5 books that are found in the Hebrew Bible. You already answered me. It's okay. I don't need that.
Okay,
right?
Okay.
So the Quran, it is not referring to that when it says the word Torah in chapter 3 verse 3. It's not referring to that.
Okay. Okay, so you're telling me that that's not the Torah. Then what is the Torah and the Gospel?
No, I didn't say that's not the Torah. I said that's not the Torah that is being mentioned in chapter 3, verse 3. The word Torah, it's equivocal, meaning it has multiple meanings. It is not only one meaning. It does not only refer to one thing. The Torah can refer to the
what
5.
is the Torah?
I'm telling you, the Torah can refer to what was given to Moses and the 9 tablets, or it can refer to the 5 different books found in the Torah, meaning in the Old Testament, or it can refer to the Old Testament itself.
Yeah, you're still not telling me what the Torah is.
Sir, I just told you, sir. The
and
Torah.
Gospel is?
Yeah, I'm gonna repeat it one more time, sir. If you don't understand, I'm gonna send you packing. So the Torah can refer to 2 different things. It can refer to the generality of the Old Testament, or it can refer to the tablets that were given to Moses. Okay, that's the Torah. The Gospel is also equivocal. It also means 2 different things, right? It can refer to the New Testament, or sorry, the 4 Gospels that we have today, or it can also refer to the revelation that was directly given to Jesus Christ. There you go.
Okay, that's fine. So the only way to find out, I know, you're making claims, but the only way to find this out is to show me proof. Because
proof for what?
I'm giving you my answer. You're saying that's not what it is, and then you're giving me your answer, and I'm just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, because the Quran makes a distinction. The Quran makes a distinction between the Torah, meaning what was given to Moses, and the Torah, meaning the Old Testament. The Quran uses both in different contexts. Therefore, we can come to the conclusion that there's not only one Torah, or the word is not univocal.
And then you're gonna say, it's just a book that revealed to that person. That's not really giving me.
No, that's not what I said. That's not how I'm answering you. I'm not answering by saying the Torah.
You said the Torah was revealed to Moses. That's what you said.
No, I'm saying the Torah is going to be the content in which was revealed to Moses to guide his nation. I don't know the specific content. Wait. Let me finish. I don't know the specific contents that is found in that Torah, right? But that doesn't mean that I don't know that there was a Torah that existed that is like that, right? Now I have 1 second. No, but I don't know the content within it. Right, I'm telling you, I don't know the exact content that is within the Torah that was given to Moses. So if you mean what is that, meaning what is the content within, we don't know. You don't know, right? Because the Torah has been changed multiple times. I can tell you what it is, meaning what type of thing it is. It is a revelation from God that was given to Moses, and which was used to guide the nation of Israel. That is what it is. Now I'm gonna bring somebody up. I want you to discuss with them on what Q
come on,
is.
you're not being fair, host.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Hey,
Make
Bruno,
it mainstream.
what if-
Mainstream.
Yo,
Make it
Bruno.
mainstream.
What if I told you something, my man? What if I granted you every letter in the Torah, and I told you that the Quran confirms the earliest gospel of Q? What are you gonna tell me? Go ahead.
I want to carry on with the host because it seems like
No,
the host
I'm the host. I'm the host now. I'm the host now. Yes, the Quran confirms. Let's say, granted, for argument's sake, every single letter in the Pentateuch, in the 5 books, and in the Q Gospel confirms the Torah. Go ahead. Now what?
Yeah. So if the Quran confirms the previous scriptures, which was the Torah and the Gospel, then I cannot.
Q's Gospel. Yes.
If the Quran confirms the Torah and the Gospel, then I cannot take the Quran as as a primary source to go to.
Why
it confirms scriptures from the previous books.
No, Q Gospel. Sir. Q's Gospel doesn't have a passion narrative. Yeah. So again, Q's Gospel, which is the earliest gospel, written around probably 40 to 45 AD, earlier than Mark, is free from a passion narrative, free from a crucifixion, and free from vicarious atonement. Yes, the Quran confirms Q, and the Quran confirms the Torah. Go ahead. What's the argument now?
Well, I don't think we're gonna go anywhere with this. So
answer the question, sir.
Yes, because you don't have an argument.
Oh man.
It's because you don't have an argument. You don't even know what you're arguing.
He doesn't know what Q's Gospel is.
Wait, let's play. You know what Q's Gospel is?
What is the Q?
Why don't you ask? Why don't you ask and be humble and just ask?
So this whole time you don't know what it is? It's the source material that Matthew and Luke used beside Mark. So Matthew and Luke used 2 sources that we know of, okay, other than their own unique sources.
Yep.
They used Mark, and they used the Quell Gospel.
Yeah.
in German means source. Okay, Q. Okay, that's what it's known in scholarship.
Okay,
Q's
so how does that relate to what we're talking about?
Yeah, so the Quran, I can grant you the Quran confirms whatever Matthew and Luke have in common that is not found in Mark. That is called Q, and it is the earliest gospel that we have. It is free from a crucifixion. It is free from vicarious atonement. It is free from anything like that. It confirms the Quran and it confirms the Sunnah. Jesus is just a man. He's just a prophet.
He didn't get
He's not crucified. He's not crucified. He's confirmed by John the Baptist. He's baptized. He has parables and teachings that confirm with the parables and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. So we confirm Q, and we confirm every single letter in the Torah. Given, granted. What's up now? I can grant you from Genesis all the way to Deuteronomy. Now what? What are you gonna do about it now?
No problem. But Q is, it's no longer exists. So that kind of
no longer. Yeah. Okay, and we don't have any manuscripts.
Yeah, who
of Q,
cares?
Well, okay, yeah. Now what? Yeah, we don't have manuscripts of Q. It's still consensus that Q has existed. Do you have any evidence that Q didn't exist? Because the evidence suggests that Q existed. We have significant evidence, overwhelming evidence. If I were to sit down here and tell you the evidence, I would have you on chokehold so much that you'd be begging for me to let you go. So yes, you want the Quran to confirm the gospel and the Torah. Yes, the Quran confirms the gospel and the Torah. Now what?
Okay, so the next question, like I said to you, would be to show me evidence of what you're saying is true, because
evidence of what?
That the Q is still exists to this day, because
you
have to talk about
the evidence of Q. Okay, you want the evidence?
Not even let me speak.
You just said to give you evidence of Q. I'm about to give it to you.
I know, but you know, let me. But okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. It's your life anyway. Go ahead, man. You run the show.
No, finish. I don't want you to cry victim. Go ahead, finish.
No, it's some sense. But anyways, what I was saying to you that if you say that the Q gospel exists, then you're gonna have to show me evidence that it exists on the gospel on the books to this day.
Okay, no worries. We could start here. Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah. Is it consensus that Q exists today in modern critical scholarship?
Are you asking me, or
I'm asking
you provide me the evidence? Wait, yeah, I ask you to provide me evidence, and you come.
Yeah. We're gonna start one by one. Relax, cowboy. Just answer the question.
Hold on, listen. I'm being very like.
Are you gonna answer the question? Look. Answer the question. He doesn't know the answer. He doesn't know. He doesn't know the answer.
He doesn't know the answer. It's okay. I'll tell him. Yes, it is consensus, and it's been consensus since the 1900s that Q fixes the synoptic problem. The synoptic problem is this. Synoptic means seen together. Matthew, Mark, and Luke are the synoptic gospels. Synoptic means seen together. What is the synoptic problem? The synoptic problem is that Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they have so much material in common. The Greek is literally copied, word by word, copied identical for a lot of the sayings and a lot of the sequences. Yet, there's a lot of diverging, and there's a lot of differences. So what is the synoptic problem? Okay, well, how do we know that Mark was written first? We know that Mark is written first because of many evidences. The first one, because Mark is the shortest gospel, and if a gospel is written later, then historically it would have more material, and if written earlier, it would historically have less material. Why? Because as the faith grows, people want more information and add more stories. That's not the biggest evidence, though. The biggest evidence that Mark was written first. So can you please give me the explanation for why, when Matthew and Luke share a tradition found in Mark, they share it in the same wording and in the same sequence, but when they share a tradition not found in Mark, they share the same exact wording, but not in the same sequence? Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bruno. You're good.
Yeah, respectfully, I don't know the answer to that, but
okay. The answer to that. The only answer to that is that they didn't only use Mark as a source,
I know. Can I just say this, Orthodox, respectfully? Can I just say this?
Go ahead.
No, I just want to know, where are you going with this? Because
Synoptic problem. Synoptic problem.
Yeah. It's called the synoptic problem. So scholars. So let me finish.
Okay.
Yeah, scholars have said that Matthew and Luke must have used another source material, and it must have been a logion, a saying source. Why? A saying source is not a narrative. It's not a story with a sequence.
Yeah, not a passion narrative.
Jesus said. Let me finish, dude. I'm educating you right now. You should be taking notes. Jesus said. Just words of Jesus. That's why Matthew and Luke, whenever they share traditions not found in Mark, they say the same exact sayings material, same exact words in the Greek, same exact words, but the timeline and the sequence where it's found is always different. That means Luke and Matthew.
We're arguing off the two-source hypothesis, basically.
Yes.
Bruno, just so you know.
Good. So Matthew and Luke, we know this from the evidence. Not only did they use Mark as a source, they also used another sayings gospel that scholars call Q.
Yep.
Now, from the sayings material that is shared by Matthew and Luke, that is not found in Mark, this confirms the Islamic faith. This is exactly what Q is. Jesus has disciples. Jesus has parables. There's no passion narrative. There's no vicarious atonement. Okay? God will raise up other children of Abraham. Parables about the kingdom of God. And so on and so forth. So yes, the Quran confirms the gospel generally. And the general confirmation is Q. Do you have anything to argue?
Yes, I do, actually. So if you're saying there's what did you say, synaptic problems?
Synoptic problem, sir.
Synoptic problem.
Okay. If you're saying there's a synaptic problems in the books that the Quran affirms, then that means...
Is this guy...
Oh my God, he's not understanding. Okay,
let me finish.
Have a good night, bro.
Get him out of here. Thank you. So for those people...
Go ahead, Liviano. Go ahead.
Yeah. So for those people saying that, but Q is a theory. Okay. There's more evidence for Q than any lives of the disciples.
That's crazy, guys. Think about that.
We know Q existed based on the textual and historical evidence. Whether we have manuscripts of Q or not, that doesn't matter. We know Q existed. We're just yet to find any manuscripts of Q.
So much external attestation to it, dude.
And this is expected. Let's take another first century work, for example. Another first century work is the Gospel of Thomas. Don't confuse it with the infancy Gospel of Thomas. That's Gnostic from the 3rd century. I'm talking about the Gospel of Thomas is 1st century. This is another example, okay? The Gospel of Thomas, we didn't have any manuscripts of Thomas until 1948.
Absolutely insane.
We never found any manuscripts of it until the Nag Hammadi collection was found in Egypt in 1948. Okay? So that's a 1st century source that we didn't have any manuscripts for until 100 years ago. And guess what? This confirms Q. Why does Thomas confirm Q? Because we know from the 1st century, the earlier you go, you have saying sources, not narratives. And this confirms Q as a saying source because Thomas is from the 1st century. And when we found Thomas, guess what? It was a saying source, not a narrative.
Yep.
And actually, the lack of logia gospels or sayings gospels was the biggest argument against the existence of Q until we found Thomas, which is a logia, a saying source, which confirms Q. So yes, the Quran confirms the gospel. The gospel is generally confirmed what they had in the 7th century, which is Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and maybe John. Okay?
Thank you for that.
And Matthew, Mark, and Luke, okay? Matthew and Luke, they used two sources, Mark and Q. And Quran does a general confirmation. And Q's gospel is the earliest gospel, 15 years after Jesus. And Quran confirms Q. So yes, Quran
Barakallahu
confirms
feek.
the Torah and the Gospel.
All right, time out,
Thank
Libiano.
you.
Guys, stay up here for a second. Guys, Libiano, talk about how you plan on making it mainstream and posting more videos about what Q is and how the Quran can confirm Q, and we can affirm that that is the gospel of Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm actually working on a reconstruction of Q. I'm not doing the reconstruction. I'm using a scholar's reconstruction. Okay, a good book is called Q, the Earliest Gospel. I forgot his name. He has a weird last name. But get the book, okay? He has a reconstruction of Q's gospel at the end of the book. I'm using his reconstruction, okay? And I'm aligning each source material in Q.
John S. Kloppenborg?
Yes, that's him, yes. I'm using his reconstruction of Q, and I'm paralleling each source material from Q to the Quran and the Sunnah.
Barakallahu feek, guys. You see that word?
I'm gonna take it to mainstream apologetics, inshallah.
Nice. Barakallahu feek. Guys, I'm about to eat iftar here in a couple minutes actually, but I'm going to ask you guys to do a couple things for me. Make sure you hit the follow button if you haven't already followed me. Turn on post and live notifications so you're notified when I'm live or when I post anything. And make sure, guys, you subscribe to my YouTube as well. We're almost at 3.5k. I know I've been inactive, but I'm gonna get back into it, inshallah. Also, the Orthodox Muslim, guys, he's blowing up right now. Make sure you follow him on his TikTok. Make sure you turn on his post and live notifications, like he loves to say, and also subscribe to his YouTube. And
turn on the notifications, man.
Turn on the notifications, man. That's it. And also he has an Instagram. It is the Muslim Orthodox as well. If you guys want to check that out as well, he's blowing up over there as well. I'm out for now, guys.